Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, is there any public comments?
There are no public comments.
No public comments, okay. Dr. Chong, can I turn it over to you?
Yeah, wanted to wish everybody a happy Chinese New Year's and Year of the Tiger. Wish everybody health and prosperity. Just want to give a brief report. Let me see the agenda. I've just got it. Comments. Yeah, I just want to give a brief report, and then I'll turn it over to Seraphin. I attended the legislative conference in Sacramento, came back, and it went well. The budgets are very healthy, fortunately, even in spite of the COVID. And the governor's budget is still being massaged over by Kate Jolly, and we'll be sending you details as we get it. I also had meetings with Assemblyman Jim Wood, Senator Bill Dodd's staff, and Mike McGuire's staff advocating for money for our student housing proposal, and also for more funding for things like IT during the COVID, and there's a lot of resources put into that. Now I'll turn it over to Seraphin, who has the rest of the agenda to cover. Okay.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. My system's a little bit slow here.
We do have an item from Jay as well before we do our updates.
Okay. Yeah, I'll introduce it. Jay is coming before the Board Facilities Committee to talk about a naming opportunity from the foundation, and it affects our facility. So I'm going to turn it over to Jay.
Thank you, Dr. Chong. Good afternoon, trustees. Can you hear me through this mask? I apologize, but I'm here in the office today with a colleague. We have a big mailing that we're trying to get out today. Yeah, I'm back. Now that we're beginning to, our facilities are getting completed and we're working closely with the coaches. There's these naming opportunities that we overlook in the planning process. They're beginning to emerge. So I'm bringing back just one item for you today for approval. It's the dugout for the baseball stadium, which we kind of overlooked when we brought the list to you initially. But we also have an opportunity. There's some urgency to a naming for that space. Sam Gomes, who has been a coach here for many years and coached many of the high school programs. He attended the JC from 1980 to 1983. He was diagnosed with ALS back in May, and he's been in very poor health since then. So the community's rallying behind Sam. There's a huge GoFundMe campaign right now to help him with some of his medical expenses. But we're also raising some money to name the the dugout after Sam Gomes. So I'm bringing that to you today. The cost for that would be $10,000. So that's the item, and we'd like to get that. We have almost all the money raised already, but like I said, there is urgency to that. So I'm bringing that to you today for consideration and approval.
Okay, thank you, Jay.
I just want to speak in support of that proposal. I thank the foundation staff for expediting this. Sam, I've gotten to know him. He's one of the really why Santa Rosa Athletics is what it is. He's dedicated. He's selfless. He's mentored many SRJC student athletes, including our current dean, Matt Markovich. So it's really very sad that Sam has been afflicted with ALS, as you know, what ALS is very, very tragic disease that we wouldn't wish upon anybody. But I think this is an appropriate naming, and we hope that Sam will be around for as long as he can in order to have that recognition bestowed upon him. Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Chung. Trustee, I have a motion.
So moved. I think that's what more appropriate way to have something named after someone, especially, being involved with the baseball and the youth and everybody. So wholeheartedly make the motion for that.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Seraphin, back to you. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everyone. As I get my presentation up on your screen, we'll get going with the Measure H bond program and capital project updates. And we will begin with our purchasing update. We currently have one solicitation out, RFP 1280 for the enterprise resource planning. 5 proposals were received and 2 vendors were shortlisted. So those vendors will be called in to do demonstrations. So that solicitation is still in progress. And then there is one item purchasing is bringing to the board for approval next week, which includes award of contract to GHD for SQL Consulting for the Construction and Building Trade Center in Petaluma. Awarded this past month was the CUPCA program. We had 68 contractors that were pre-qualified and are now on our CUPCA list for 2022. And they are preparing an RFP to go out for district-wide pest control. Next up is Kevin Snyder with IT.
Good afternoon. First, Seraphin, you're killing me. The only thing I have on my quick update today is something you just now talked about. So this will in fact be quick. Just to elaborate on the ERP project a little bit, we are down to two vendors, Anthology and Elution, both of which have at least some presence in the California Community College system. We're excited about both. Elution is going to be here for demos the last week of March, and then 2 weeks later, Anthology. So we're really excited about that process. We're really eager to meet with these guys and find the best possible ERP for the district. And that concludes my actually quick update. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And next up is Greg Wyckoff with Media Services.
Actually, Seraphin, I'm going to be doing the presentation today. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
I just want to update everybody on the winter break projects. The first one is the full refresh and call 3862. That one is just bringing everything up to standard in those classrooms. We deployed 6 IFPs. Those are those interactive flat panels. And those have been placed. We have about, just so you guys know, we have about 80 on the campus of those IFPs in circulation. They're really high demand. And then we have the flexible demonstration cabinets for Annalee Hall art classrooms. That's a COVID related one. It allows us to show, it allows the instructor to show it without students having to gather so close together in the classroom. It's also probably a technology that will be used even beyond COVID. And then of course, the deferred maintenance for major issues that are done. And that one is like things that need to be replaced, recalibrated, and those are all Measure H funded projects. And then we can go to the next one. I think we have one more slide. So this one is some fun stuff on this list. The athletic event live streaming camera. It's an independent camera that can film sporting events and can read scoreboards. Very, very fancy. That one, it's good to know that that was grant funded. If you get any questions, that wasn't a Measure H project. And then, so what it does is it like creates a ticker based on the scoreboard. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this technology. I find it very fascinating. But we have that, and then we also have the hybrid instruction. And that one is Measure H funded. That is really, other districts were using this technology recently due to COVID. We've had more of an increase for this. This is also Measure H funded. It's about $3,000 to $4,000 per classroom. And then just like the art technology, we anticipate this kind of technology being used even beyond the pandemic. And then we have our Zoom recording psychotherapy. So that's the observation. That one, we did leverage some existing software and use open software that didn't cost any funding. And then we have Measure H funded about $600 per room. There's 3 observation rooms. And that one had to be HIPAA compliant. So anyone that uses that, that's the software that we used. And that's for the therapists and training program and observation. And then the last one, to try to be as brief as possible, is the remote observation in child development. That one has audio and video. And it has a capability for real-time childcare activities in the classroom being observed. That was partially or majority funded by Strong Workforce. So about 140 covered by Strong Workforce, and there was an additional $40,000 for that project that was funded with Measure H. So majority Strong Workforce. And thank you. I hope I tried to be as brief as possible.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Catherine. If there are no questions, we will proceed with the capital project updates. One introduction that I do want to make is someone you already know is Dan Exelby, who retired from the district last month with the IT department. And we've been lucky to be able to bring Dan and his extensive knowledge and experience in IT under capital projects as part of one of our consulting teams. So Dan will be supporting all of our projects on IT infrastructure and continue to work with our IT department to make sure that we are first developing standards for district IT, and then making sure that we're implementing those and carrying those out through our design and construction of our projects. And this is Dan's presentation.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be back as a presenter to the Board Facilities Committee, Dr. Chong, members of the board and community. I'm going to report on the outdoor Wi-Fi project that is currently in the installation phase. This is one you've been hearing about for a long time, but because of the supply chain issues, we didn't actually receive the equipment until late in November. And so with the holidays, we're only now starting to get it installed. And what you see here is mock-ups of the 4 different antennas that go on the outdoor radios. So from left to right, there's sort of a 180-degree antenna, a 360-degree antenna. This is about a 10-degree, very long distance antenna. And then the one on the right there is about a 60-degree antenna. And each of those will be used in various different, on the outside of various different buildings around the district to provide classroom quality Wi-Fi access, internet access, and access to district resources on the network in outdoor instructional areas. So this is being funded by CARES, and it's going to allow teachers to, when possible, take their students outdoors into a more, virus-friendly environment or unfriendly to viruses environment where there's a lot more air moving, and they can still use their mobile devices. They can take laptop carts outside or other devices. In the upper right-hand corner, you can see this is one of the first omnidirectional 360-degree antennas installed on the outside of Anley Village. We're kind of doing some preliminary testing of the installations on various buildings. We're sensitive to the aesthetic of these, and we're going to do our best to kind of disguise them as much as possible, especially on our heritage buildings and our new buildings. We're working on some different strategies to make sure that they're not, you know, that they're visually appealing. As you can see, they're not exactly beautiful, but they are very functional, and we're working on the beautiful part. Our first main campus installation, once we kind of you know, practice on Annalee Village for a while, is going to be at the Public Safety Training Center, and they're already getting deployed up there. They do outdoor classes all the time up there, and so they were the campus that was really ready to make use of this the moment that it goes, the moment that it's ready. So they're excited and anxious to use it. We'll also be, you know, getting these installed in the new outdoor facilities for the CAD department on the Santa Rosa campus, as well as a lot of the assembly areas on all of the campuses around the district. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Dan. Next up is Ryan Garcia Hall.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. First up is Garcia Hall renovations. As you can see in the photos, we got framing modifications and rough-in work that's continuing, and we're targeting mid-February for insulation install, so that one's moving right along. And next up, we've got Schoen Farm AG portables. Interior and exterior work continue. The final rough-in work is being completed and finishes are beginning to be installed. And next, we've got the Schoen Farm upgrades, barn upgrades. The barn roofing project is complete, and right now we're processing the notice of completion. And next, we've got the Schoen Farm produce processing facility. We had PG&E cut over power on 121. And also we've got walk-in coolers that are scheduled for construction in spring of 2022. Bids are due this week for that. And next we've got the Public Safety Training Center. This project is still in design and targeting DSA submission in the spring of 2022.
Thank you, Ryan. Next is David Liebman.
Good afternoon, everyone. So at the Quinn Central Plant project, I have some pictures for you of the inside of the central plant. All the equipment inside the plant has been started up and is producing hot water and chilled water. And we are currently working on finishing the site work for the asphalt to open up the parking lot, as well as finish the storefront glass, as well as the brick veneer. You can see in kind of the upper left corner 2 pictures of the new sump system in the Quinn basement that is capturing about 50 to 70,000 gallons of water a day, and now putting it in our new 50,000 gallon tank that will use it for toilet flushing and irrigation. And by the end of the month, we plan to start commissioning the plant to verify that the smart controls are working and that is operational, and then we will track the plant usage for about a year to validate that it's working. For the
quick question, where the reclaimed water, where's that actually coming from? You're saying the 50,000 gallons a day. Where is that coming from?
So when they built Quinn in the 70s, they hit a natural spring. It's an alluvial spring, and so for about since the 70s, the water has just been going into the storm drain. About maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, we put meters to actually measure the quantity of water, and it's about 50 to 70,000 gallons of water a day during the winter time. During the drought years, it still was pumping water every day, but during the summer, it got as low as 20,000. And so we tested the water as well, and it's just well water. It has high mineral content, but it's perfectly good water. It is not for drinking because it is not treated potable water, but it can be used as non-potable water for irrigation and toilet flushing and for cooling buildings.
That's awesome. That's great.
So for the SRJC microgrid project, the batteries have been 100% commissioned. We had about 200 tests to complete to validate the system. We have completed 190 of them. So we have about 10 more tests that we're working to validate that we're going to squeeze in throughout the semester. And then also, we finished installing all of our microgrid assets, and we are now just trending data to validate that the system is going to work, that we have good power quality. And we are also starting to take the project on the roadshow. So we are presenting to the California Council on Science and Technology, which is a committee for staffers in Sacramento on the impacts of climate change, renewable energy. And we also wrote an abstract paper that was accepted by the American Council on Energy Efficient Economies that we will present on this summer. And so that's the SRJC microgrid project. A new project that we're working on that is kind of in tandem with a number of facility upgrades that we wanted to do for across the district is what we're calling the ADR programming. This programming is for all district buildings that are connected to the facilities energy management system. It will essentially centralize control and allow facilities to have greater control and operation for 3 events. One is the ability to have better flexibility for heating and cooling our buildings, especially during extreme cold or hot days. It will allow us to remotely just purge all of our buildings with fresh outside air and remove stale inside air before classes start, but do it remotely versus going through every single building to validate that, as well as during a fire event or a bad air quality day, facilities operation can just go remotely on a computer and instantly shut down all the outside air intake to not bring in smoke into the buildings.
Thank you, David. Next, we'll move on to Heather.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So the fields are almost complete. The actual fields themselves are being used by the softball and baseball team, but we've completed the sidewalk, all the site lighting is in, the pathways are done. We've mulched and put in trees. So we'll be doing the official punch list walk soon for that. And at the field house, almost all of the metal panels are installed. The building is weather tight and we're installing sheetrock. The plaster ceilings at the showers are complete, and we'll be putting the HVAC equipment on the roof in a couple of weeks. And at the pool, you can see in the photo that the fence posts are going in, the support posts for the new scoreboard at the pool are in, and we're just moving along. We're going to be paving this week all around the pool. The pool deck will be poured. So yeah, we're on target for completing by the end of April. And for the Towser Gymnasium, we had meetings a couple of weeks ago, actually in late December and through January with various departments, and we're going to be submitting to DSA the first week in March.
Thank you, Heather. Next up is Rhonda.
Good afternoon. As you can see, we have all the steel erection complete. We're currently in welding, decking, and finishing up bolt up. This week, we're gonna start doing inserts and electrical floor boxes. The upper right there, you can see the transformer was set last week. And we will do a connection in a few weeks. Okay.
Thank you, Rhonda. I do want to point out that, the installation of the transformer is a huge milestone achieved. This is one of the materials that the construction industry is having huge delays on. So this team has worked very diligently on making sure that we get the transformer in on time and in a way that it's not going to affect the rest of the schedule of the project. So kudos to the team. Next up is Amy.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Baker Hall renovation is primarily finished. Room 1850 is complete. The exterior canopies and benches were completed. One item is in 1805, the custom case work and tops have been delayed, and I'm being told we will get those, and the completion date will be the end of February. CCD 3 is being priced and getting ready to go to board for approval. That was a change through DSA for 6 of the doors on the project. And I expect to have the project completed outside of that DSA work with the doors at the end of February. Bertolini Student Health Services, they have moved into the new space. The reception room furniture has been delivered. You can see that in the picture. The balance of the office furniture will be delivered in April. Kevin Mack Construction is almost complete with the punch list items. And if all the documentation and closeout items are received, I should be able to file for NOC in March. Campus-wide security project is going very well. We have the leftover in scope for the Windsor and Petaluma campuses are complete. I have 6 elevators, the voice over internet protocol systems to be installed at the Santa Rosa campus. And the date to start that work is beginning of February. Middle of February, I'm sorry. And I will be complete by the end of February with that. I have a little bit of site accessibility work coming up soon now that Central Plant project is complete. And we are on schedule for the completion of the security project in March 2022. The foundation new office building actually started with clearing and grubbing today. And tomorrow they'll put up the fencing. And if the dirt is not too wet, which we don't think it will be, we'll start the building the pads. And the project has a 12-month timeline with a scheduled date of January 2023 for the foundation to move in. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. So we have 11 items for you to approve at the board meeting next week. We have a couple of notices of completion, one for the facilities and operations building roof repair project. This is for the Santa Rosa campus. And then at Schoen Farm, we have the barn roof replacement notice of completion that Ryan reported on. For the Learning Center for STEM Education project, we have change order number 2 for $300,961 that will bring our total change orders to 1.5%. This change order includes additional electrical underground work that addresses some of the pier installation in preparing the ground for the footings, some rooftop duct support for mechanical units, and then additional casework and ceiling panels that were added. Also, there was additional steel associated with some of these changes. Next, we have a Towser Gym renovation contract amendment number 2 to TLCD Architects. This is basically to address lighting in parking lot C that was not included in the original scope. Next item is change order number 4 for the CAD project for right contracting. This will bring our total change orders to 2.94 for this project. And this addresses some unforeseen conditions and rerouting electrical wire that near the West Stadium that was also part of an unforeseen. And then when the project was originally designed, we did not have the security standards approved yet. So we went back and added the access cards to the field house, incorporating the security standards to the project. The student housing project, we're adding an additional inspector of record and assistant as required by DSA. DSA made the request. And so we're adding an amendment to Premier Inspections original contract. Next up, we have Baker Hall, amendment number 2 for C8 Architects. This addresses several of the DSA issues that Amy reported on during her report. So this addresses the design that they had to do as required by DSA. Newman Hall AV Upgrade Award of Contract to Quest Technology Management. This is basically material and also installation for AV at Newman Hall. Quinn Central Plant change order number 7. This brings our total change orders to 4.1% for this project. And this again also deals with several of the unforeseens in coordination with the swimming pool project. Garcia Hall alterations, change order number 3 to Hawley and Associates. This will bring our total change orders to 8.17%. And here there was additional asbestos abatement done by Hawley. And then there was several revisions to built-in cabinetry. And then there's a minor math error that is being corrected between change order number 2. And so we're addressing that change here as part of change order number 3. And then the last item is resolution 3-22. I have a little bit more of a presentation on this one. This one is asking the board to adopt the mitigated negative declaration and also approve the project for the Elliott Avenue pilot closure project. And this will be presented to you next week. Just a quick reminder of what the closure entails. We are proposing to close the Elliott Avenue between the 2 driveways going into Emeritus Circle. So those driveways will remain open and active. Included as part of the project, we would add an additional driveway into the Emeritus parking lot at the corner of Salem and Clement Avenues. Just some quick history on the project and also to share with you the project timelines. Again, this is a project that is in cooperation with the city of Santa Rosa. So the project would be, again, a pilot project where we would close the street for 16 months. And then based on studies and feedback, a final decision will be made by the board in 2024. So this is planned to be approved by hopefully approved by the board this month, our board, and then it will go to the city council for their review and approval in March. And if the project is approved by both entities, then we would implement the pilot project in the fall of 2022. The pilot would run for 16 months through the fall of 2023. This 16 months, I do want to bring to your attention, that is a change from the original plant project as a result of input that was provided by the community. Part of the input was to have the project, the pilot running after the STEM project opens, as well as the student housing facility opens. So what this timeline will do, it would capture the full fall semester of 2023 into that timeline, so that we're able to capture and study the effects of those two projects in action. During the time, we will collect positive and negative feedback on the project. That will be evaluated, and we will also conduct additional public outreach during those 16 months. We have developed a communications plan that will collect information and disseminate information with both the campus community and the greater neighborhood area immediately north of Elliott. Again, this action is a CEQA action. An initial study was conducted. That initial study was shared with the public. There was a 30-day public period that was held in January of 2021 through February of 2021. As a reminder, our original plan was to have this project start in 2021. However, due to the pandemic, we have postponed the start of the project until there is a greater amount of students and staff on campus. At this point, it is our hopes that we would have approximately 80% at least of the students and staff back on campus by the fall of 2022. If, as you know, the pandemic is a challenging monster for us to deal with, but we will be making adjustments if we have to, based on whatever those our situation is in the fall of 2022. Meaning that if we don't have, we're similar to this semester where we only have about 40% of students back, then we would postpone the start of the project until we have the numbers back on campus. Again, this is a mitigated negative declaration that is being presented for your approval. I also want to share that we had two public open house meetings. The first one was in November of 2019. This was in person. It was prior to the pandemic. We had about 10 people from the community attend the meeting. And some of the comments that were shared included congestion around the surrounding intersections of the campus. Also questions on the visual effect of the closure, and then the timing of the project in relation to other projects, primarily the STEM and student housing projects, and then also accessibility for SRJC vehicles, or other alternatives to addressing the safety concerns that we raise. So we have been able to address these comments. Again, the closure will include manually operated gates so that emergency vehicles are able to access Elliott in case of an emergency, and also our SRJC vehicles, maintenance vehicles, will be able to access that section of road if needed. We also held a virtual town hall meeting in January on the 18th. We had approximately 25 individuals attend the virtual meeting, and we had several comments as part of that meeting as well. One thing that I do want to point out is that there was a late notification of the meeting. As we found out, several of the members actually received the notice to the meeting on the day of. However, the majority of the comments provided at that meeting were in support of the project. Some of the other comments were very similar if not repetitive to the first meeting that we had. Again, one of those comments being that we extend the project or hold the project during the or after the STEM building and the student housing building are open. So we have made accommodations for that. There was also questions on whether we were going to conduct further traffic analysis during the period, and the answer to that is yes. It is in our, part of the pilot project includes not only us collecting comments, but also and feedback, but also conducting traffic analysis. So we plan to hold at least two, one prior to the STEM building and housing building opening, and one during or after the buildings have opened, so that we have good data to compare. At this point, the traffic analysis that we do have is pre-pandemic. So as we all know, there's a lot of changes that are going on in everybody's lives that are going to definitely contribute to these traffic analysis. We don't have as many people on the road because a lot of people are working remotely. And then again, that doesn't only apply to the campus, that also applies to the neighbors, whether they're traveling in and out. So we do plan to try to capture those dynamics, again, before and after the STEM and housing building open. That concludes my presentation on this particular item, and then also on the capital projects report for today. If you have any questions.
Yeah, Seraphin, I've got one regarding the January 18th meeting. So that was the, remember when we, refresh my memory, help me refresh. So this was in the early summer, late spring, when we decided to move it off a year. And in the meantime, you were going to get in touch with the public again and do some more outreach. And that's what that January 18th meeting was, correct?
That is correct. It was to once again bring the information back to the public, give them an update on where we were with the project, primarily the fact that we were postponing the project due to the pandemic,
right.
And then also gives an opportunity for the public to provide input.
And that communication plan you're speaking to, that'll carry through as we move further down the road, correct? To make sure we get input from everybody. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And then, okay. And there's just one quick, unless I miss it. I didn't see any pictures of the student housing. I know you spoke to it about the new position, but did I miss? There was no pictures of the student housing in the presentation. Is that just me?
No, you're right. We didn't have an update on the student housing project today. So there was no pictures. We do have Mike Loganville, our project manager. That's I think he's still in the meeting. If you have any questions regarding the project, if not, we'll definitely have an update on the project at the next meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
I am definitely still here, and yes, next month as we're starting to come up out of the ground, you will definitely have something to see.
Thank you.
Great.
I just had a quick question, Terry, if that's okay.
Sure. Go ahead, Carol.
Just a quick question, Seraphin, on the notification for the January 18th meeting and being late. Did you all have any complaints about that, or were there concerns about more people not knowing about it or anything like that?
We did receive complaints from the individuals that attended the meeting, basically indicated the fact that they had received the notice on the same day, and they did express that if they had received the notice prior to, they would have obviously made better plans. Also to note, there was a notification that went out through the Press Democrat. There was a press release, and some of the people that were there found out about the meeting through the newspaper. So and that was a week prior. So the press release was a week before the meeting. it was the hard copy, hand delivered notice in people's mailboxes that was delivered late.
Was that because of the mail? I know it's really slow right now, so I'm just.
One of the, yeah, I mean, I think part of it is the mail. One thing that we also missed was the fact that we had a holiday on the 17th, the day before, so there was no mail on that day, which was Martin Luther King Jr. birthday holiday. So that also played a role into it, and we missed that one.
Any other questions for Seraphin? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Seraphin, and your team for all the updates, and have a good week, and meeting adjourned. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, everybody.